Have you ever asked yourself how big Britannia is? Well, I did, and here's what I found out. Let's start with the super basic stuff. Let's assume that one tile is 1 meter, because given the fact that the cartridge is like this, it is reasonable to say that one tile is 1 meter. What about the height? So here, if I type where, I am at positive 30Z, whereas if I go here, I am positive 52Z, so we can safely assume that 22Z axis is like 3 meters, okay, because I climbed one roof. Okay, now, with this being said, we can measure how big Britannia is. For instance, I place the boat here. Let me recall to the boat, and let's see. This is the top left corner of Britannia. If you open your auto map, this is the top left corner of Britannia. I type where. Yeah, I'm now popping the pouch. And I'm coordinate 8 and 7. I cannot move my ship. Whoa. That, I believe, is the starting point of Britannia. I had no idea. Okay, and we can safely assume that that tile is 1, 1. Now, if I move the ship a little bit to the left, I cross the server line. Left 1. Okay, see, I crossed the server line. And if I move the ship forward, slow forward, stop. Okay, I crossed the server line. So let's type where now. Let's go here, where. Okay, X is 5,100 and Y is 4,100. So we can say, with the measure that we took before, we can safely say that Britannia is 5.1 kilometers wide and 4.1 kilometers tall. That being said, okay, we know that Britannia is a sphere, because you can cross server lines and you can navigate from east to west, from north to south without encountering any barrier. So it's a sphere, pretty much like the Earth. But it's not really a sphere, because the radius is not the same north-south and it's not the same east-west. And if we have 5 kilometers of equator, we are approximately dealing with a sphere of 1.5 kilometer radius. So slightly less than a mile, diameter, sorry, 1.5 kilometers in diameter, or radius. No, that's diameter, 1.5 kilometers in diameter. So it's slightly less than 1 mile in diameter. So it's small, very small. It's very small. What about other stuff? So let's go here, for instance, Britain. This is the very beginning of Britain. If I type where, okay, you see the coordinates 1.1, 1.8, for instance, and let's run here. Let's run all the way to the other side of Britain. For some reason I'm not on my nightmare here. Well, there is a reason. Let me go retrieve the nightmare. This is something bonus for you, because my nightmare is in a very safe place. But let's run. And if you stick around till the end, we are gonna also mention the running speed, the galloping speed, and the walking speed of all characters. So stick around till the end. Let's grab a nightmare to make it faster. Come on, this is part of an old quest. There is a video relating to this. Okay, let's continue. Britannia is the biggest city. Here we are just entering Britannia. We were at Britain Farms. Let's go. Let's go, Britannia is wide, let's go. We just arrived at the Lord British Castle here. We gotta go this way. Let's go. Oh boy, Britannia. I bet you know Britannia. Everybody knows Britannia by heart. That is what a true UOR knows. So we go, we're almost there. Britannia is very, very wide. But how wide? Can you tell? Take a guess. Take a guess before we arrive. We're almost there, almost at the northeast part of Britannia. Okay, I say here is fine. Let's just retype where. Okay, 1.7, 1.5. Basically, I did the math. And basically, Britain is like more or less 540 meters east-west and 320 meter north-south. So it's pretty small. Let's say it's around 400 meters, like 1/4 of a mile. So, and that's the biggest city. For instance, let's go now Compassion Desert. Compassion Desert. Okay, let's type where. Take note of the coordinates 1.8 and almost 1 here. Okay, and we go all the way across the desert. All the way across the desert. Very wide desert. Very. All the way. So how big is the desert? What do you think? How big is the desert? What do you think? What do you think? Here we are. Where? 2 and 0.8. So the result is that the desert east-west is like 200 meters and north-south is 140 meters. So that's pretty small. It's not very hard to cross the desert, I guess. Now, let's talk about Lost Lands, shall we? Okay, let's go to the Lost Lands and see. Smaller, bigger, what do you think? Smaller or bigger than Britannia? Okay, here is the top left corner of the Lost Lands. Let's always type where. Okay, 5.1 and 2.3. Okay, now we go all the way to the top right corner, to the bottom right corner. Yeah, joking. Let's just go. Let's just go like this. Okay. Where? 6.1 and 4.1. So if you do the math, and I did beforehand, the Lost Lands are east-west 1 kilometer and north-south are 1.8 kilometers. So it's pretty small. Very, 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 very small. Very, very small. Now what else can we see? Now we covered distances more or less. What about heights? So because we also considered heights. So basic level is height 0, more or less. So how high are mountains here? Well, we can check. We can check and go here. You can climb a mountain here. This is outside Castle Granite. Okay, let's type where we are. Where? Positive 61Z. Positive 61Z. So given that the terrain is more or less at 0, let's see. Where? Yeah, 0Z. We mentioned in the beginning of the video that 20Z is more or less 3 meters, so it means that the mountain here, the highest mountain here is 10 meters in Britannia. That's like not very high, so it's easy to climb. Easy to climb, very easy to climb. Now let's talk about speed. Speed. Let's recall to a room where we can run. For instance, this. Now speed. I calculated that you can make 100 meters in 12 seconds if you are on a horse galloping. Okay, whereas if you are on a horse and you are like walking like this, I don't know the word for a horse, the speed, it takes you 22 seconds to make 100 meters, and the speed is the same. The speed if you run on foot, the speed is the same as if you walk on a horse. So we have running on a horse, 12 seconds for 100 meters. Walking on a horse, 22 seconds for 100 meters. Normally walking, is 40 seconds for 100 meters. So if we do the math, we can do it live. I believe there is around 40, more or less, 40 kilometers per hour when you run on a horse. I believe it's like 20 kilometers per hour when you walk like this or when you run. And it's approximately 10 kilometers per hour when you are just walking. So did you know all this? I don't know, have you ever asked yourself all this stuff? I don't know, I have no idea. Well, I did. That's why I made this video, which I really hope that you find interesting. And we have come to the end. As you might have noticed, we have changed the layout here. I'm a bit blurry, but yeah, I mean, that's what I can do a bit. I hope you can see Ultima Online second stage here or Ultima Online second stage there. And I really hope you liked this video. If you do, please put a like, consider subscribing and spread the video all over. One last thing, Britannia has two moons named Tremolo and Feluca, and given the fact that Britannia is 1.5 kilometers in diameter, so less than a mile in diameter, it's basically like an asteroid. I have no idea how two moons can orbit such a small planet that is Britannia. Maybe they are very close. I don't know. Well guys, thanks for watching and take care everybody. Love you all. Get out of here.